So here we are at Aroma Thyme. We're walking out of my back door of the restaurant into my garden. And little fence. I have propane tanks behind there. My tent in the garden. Oh, and here's the controversial fire pit. The highly illegal fire pit is right here. So, back in 2012, I sent Brian Shug, Ellenville Building Inspector, an email, and I inquired in person, and a friend also inquired about me building this beautiful fire pit. I was asked to submit a drawing of the backyard at the same time I was doing the tent. The tent, by the way, is 20 by 20, so it's 400 square feet, so I need no lighting plan. According to him, this is what he verbally told me. I mean, no lighting plan, just put it up and have a good time. We'll see how that pans out. He might renege on that as well. Brian Shug seems very forgetful, the building inspector. Back to the fire pit in question. So Brian came back here. I told him what I wanted to do. He stood here and we looked up at that tree right there, and he said, just cut some of the branches, which the branches have been cut. They are gone because they used to come over that way more. He goes, just cut some of those branches so you have some clearance. And then he goes, oh, by the way, the bottom of the fire pit, because you have that tree there, which I don't know, it's 20 feet away. He goes, the roots underground here could possibly be over here. So make sure you line the bottom with sheet metal. I said, that's so simple, I can do that. I emailed him the drawings. He said, looks great. His exact response to me, when I emailed him, I was thinking about doing a fire pit, and I was also thinking about doing a wood-burning pizza oven, which I found out later from the health department had more implications, so I really couldn't do that. But his initial response to me in the email was, Marcus, oven, now I can't share the email because that's one of those private confidential things in the bottom of his email, but I can tell you that I had all thumbs up for building this, and I had all thumbs up for putting an oven out here. Approval for putting an oven out here to cook with. He said, as long as I meet state fire codes. So Brian's last inspection, he came back here in August, and he double teamed me with the health department because he claims that this fire pit is highly illegal. I was greeted right over here by Brian. I'm walking in my back door of the restaurant over there, the gate. Greeted by him at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. The health inspector's here and Brian's here, and immediately met with, you have major violations back here that need to be corrected immediately, dealt with immediately. So I said, Brian, what major violations do I have back here? He looked at the fire pit, he goes, that's illegal. And I said, what's illegal about it? He goes, the whole thing. And I said, you mean to tell me this whole fire pit is illegal after you approved it? He goes, whoa, I never approved this fire pit. I know nothing about this fire pit. I said, Brian, are you sure you know nothing about it? Because I have emails, we talked, we spoke about it. I said, you stood here. He goes, I know nothing about it, Marcus. You're confusing this fire pit with your home fire pit. So, of course, going back to my emails, revealed that the drawing that I sent him was indeed the backyard of my garden, the building, their Aroma Thyme. It's clear as day where this fire pit was in my communication to him. Clear as day in writing. This was in 2012. So 2016, August, he's throwing me under the bus in front of the health inspector, claiming he knows nothing about this. His major concern, or his only concern when I was building this, was sheet metal on the bottom, cut those branches which were cut, and meet state fire regulations. He didn't know the state fire regulations, or I believe he would have told me them. So I went and looked them up, and I believe offhand it's 4 feet wide, a flame, and 3 feet high. I actually consulted with people who do know the fire code that put me in the right direction. It took some research, but I was able to find New York State fire regulation for open burning, or ornamental burning, or burning, or decorative burning, whatever it's called, whatever kind of burning it's called. But I do understand from a lot of fire chiefs that if you have an American flag outside near your fire pit and you're doing a ceremonial burn, nobody will bother you because it's a patriotic thing to do. I've been told to have an American flag out here by most fire chiefs that have seen this. I have a lot of people involved in the fire departments that have come back here and enjoyed this fire pit and said, Marcus, there's nothing illegal about what you're doing back here. So why is Brian Shug singling me out? Why is he busting my balls on this? Why did he lie in front of the health department? he called the health department in to double team this inspection. This is, so let me flip this around here. He actually called that in to double team the inspection, right? So he wanted to get more leverage on this fire pit, so you call in another inspector at the same time to get more ammunition against the person you're inspecting. It's a tactic that they do when they really have it in for a place. If a place they think, oh man, we should close this down, or we really want to bust their balls, we really want to crack down on them, let's double team the inspectors, is how that works, okay? So that's essentially what happened to me. I was double teamed on an inspection. The health inspector, by the way, none of this has to deal with him whatsoever. So he basically walked away from the inspection. He went inside and did his inspection inside the kitchen. Brian and I stood out here arguing, voices escalating, a very unethical, unprofessional inspection, especially based upon he did not have his facts walking into here. And here's something else. So Brian in that email said that, well, you know, go for an oven as well, because at the time I said, remember, I thought I was going to put a wood-burning pizza oven back here, but it needs to have an enclosure, you have to have a sink, you have to have a lot of other things to be able to cook in your backyard, right? It has to be enclosed. So there's an oven right here that I took out of my kitchen last year because we bought a new convection oven in the kitchen. So it sits back here. It's not connected. It's not connected at all to gas, propane, nothing. It just sits back here. It could be considered decoration. Well, Brian Shug said this is highly illegal. But if you go back to his emails, he's saying go for it. Keep in mind, this oven is not connected. It has no propane to it. We don't cook with it. It can be considered art, ornamental, decoration. You can put flower beds on there. You can put flower pots on there. You can put water bottles on there if you wanted to ice down water bottles or sodas or beers and serve off of there if you wanted to. There's no propane to it. But all of a sudden, 4 years later, having an oven in my backyard at the restaurant is illegal, totally illegal. But prior to that, his emails didn't state that. They were encouraging me to do that. The one thing that the fire inspector asked me to do was put up this fire extinguisher, which I immediately did. Immediately put that up, because if you're going to tell me I have a violation, I'm going to fix it. But don't come in to a situation like this and lie in front of another inspector and try to really have it in for me. I'm sorry, my personal opinion here is Brian Shug has an agenda, or he's covering his ass. He's doing something. Maybe he's just very, very, very forgetful and has no clue of what he's doing. And I've heard this from other people, that he is very forgetful, that he forgets things he says to get things in writing from him, because he's given other construction people, other jobs, hard times when he has actually verbally given the okay. And this is common knowledge around the village. You just ask anybody who's dealt with them. I'm finding out through all my postings on Facebook and my diggings that a lot of people are coming forward and telling me things that are shocking, but of course they're afraid to go out and speak up. They're afraid to say something because they're in fear of retaliation of Brian Shug, the building inspector, because he really believes that he is on this power trip. He really believes that he's the one who's large and in charge here. And you know what? I'm not putting up for it. I'm standing up. I'm standing up for my rights. And there's many more videos like this to come of me exposing Brian Shug and just the crazy stuff that he does here in Ellenville. So thanks for watching this video. Please share this video, like this video, pass it on, and tweet it, Facebook it, do something. Just share it. Share it, share it, share it. Expose this guy.